Do question number 10. For questions 10, we have what is the ground state electron configuration for nitrogen? Ground state E-config. And unfortunately, you can see the answer right there. But nonetheless, we're still going to pretend like we didn't see that. With that being said, we want to apply the off-ball principle. Luckily, I can actually walk you through each of the, I guess, quote-unquote, orbitals to make sure we get the nitrogen. So nitrogen is the seventh element, okay? That's what we want to account for. So we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and then we have 2p, 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7p. Then we have 3d, 4d, 5d, 6d. Then we have 4f and 5f. We're not going to get that far, but I wanted to lay out everything as much as possible. So now when it comes to counting these orbitals, remember we want to get to the seventh element. The first element, hydrogen, that would be 1s1, okay? Because that's the first one, that's the s orbital. And helium, this is where the only exception is because it's actually on the right side. Helium, although being a noble gas, that would be counting as your 1s2. So now we've actually cleared the obstacle of the 1s's, okay? Now to get to the 2s2, we have lithium will be 2s1, beryllium will be 2s2. So we're done with now that orbital because of the fact that s orbitals only take 2 electrons because only one orbital. And we're done there. So that would mean done. And now we get to the p part, where it's boron, carbon, and nitrogen. So we're actually quite close. Boron will be 2p1, carbon 2p2, and nitrogen 2p3. And the reason why I mentioned the seventh electron, because as you can see here, these coefficients, these superscripts, they should add up to 7. 2 plus 2 plus 3, it does indeed add up to 7. And to clarify what they mean by ground state is they want a nitrogen element. They do not want a cation or an anion, they just want the nitrogen element. So with that, let me just slowly go over to what my colleague said. As I said, we have 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, just like how I've written there. But if we go back to here, as it should now have loaded for you, just as how my colleague got, it's 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So with that being said, they just explain how they got it, and exactly because the ground state nitrogen has 7 electrons, it needs to fill in the orbitals accordingly, hence how we got 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. With that though, this is correct. And that should be our last question. Okay, so once again, I just want to thank you for joining me tonight. I do apologize for the streaming errors and issues that we faced. Definitely going to get that looked and fixed. But with that being said though, you have a lovely rest of your night. And see you next time. But I do want to emphasize again, any of the topics I covered, if you just wanted some further clarification or some extra help, please do check out the links in the description below. With that being said, thanks again and see you next time.